breaking news in the Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively court case. A judge has ruled on the protective order. This is a big deal.
Who won? Well, I think it's a bit more complicated.
He made it very clear that some of the things that Blake was afraid of coming out in court were not things that Wayfarer was actively pursuing.
Blake Lively's own attorney just dropped a bombshell, unleashing literary receipts. These aren't minor documents. They're alleged evidence of under-the-table payoffs and secret deals, plunging the A-list actress into full-blown panic. Sources claim Lively is scrambling, desperately trying to hide the damage as her deepest secrets spill into public view. Once untouchable, she now faces accusations from bribing judges to paying hush money to silence critics. The stakes have never been higher. This Hollywood scandal is intensifying.
Who wrote to me said that they worked on the set of It Ends With Us, okay? And that the villain in this entire story is not Blake Lively. It's not Justin Baldoni, but it is.
Her initial victim narrative quickly unraveled. Blake positioned herself as the wronged party, casting Justin Baldoni as the villain in her public drama. She boldly claimed irrefutable proof, promised receipts, and asserted she could demonstrate harm. Yet, when the court pressed, she produced nothing of substance. This glaring absence of facts triggered immediate skepticism, painting an early picture of desperation. Her story crumbled before it truly began. Then came the infamous horrific dance scene allegation, presented as her smoking gun, a claim she was forced into something against her will. This was supposed to solidify her victim narrative. However, the full video soon emerged, obliterating her story. It starkly showed Blake smiling and at ease, performing professionally, with no sign of distress. Visual evidence directly contradicted her claims, transforming her supposed proof into a blatant inconsistency that sparked public skepticism and undermined her credibility. Instead of acknowledging the discrepancy, Blake doubled down with a bizarre new defense. She pivoted, claiming Baldoni wasn't in character and that she had to pretend to like him. This quickly morphed into her criticizing the dance scene, blaming him for not following the script. Legal experts were baffled. An actress portraying affection on screen is fundamental to the job. Her lawsuit suddenly appeared to be suing someone for simply performing professional duties, baffling the legal community. When that tactic failed, Blake escalated, filing an unprecedented 180-page court complaint, far exceeding the typical 20 to 25 pages. Her team believed burying the court in claims would overwhelm reviewers. However, judges and lawyers saw through this instantly, recognizing it as a transparent smokescreen masking the absence of real evidence. Judge Lyman, managing this spectacle, flatly described it as a PR stunt rather than legitimate legal action, a flashy collection of headlines devoid of legal merit. Her tactical maneuvers continued to raise serious eyebrows, particularly when she attempted to invoke an attorney's eyes only order. This aimed to restrict access to crucial documents exclusively to lawyers, hiding them from public scrutiny. Such a maneuver immediately prompted intense suspicion. Why desperately hide critical evidence unless it posed a significant, even catastrophic threat to her case? This demand for stringent secrecy only solidified the perception Blake was actively concealing something deeply incriminating. Whispers intensified into alarming rumors about a staggering $100 million. This astronomical figure was allegedly offered by someone connected to Blake, an attempt to keep specific, highly damaging evidence permanently hidden from the court and public. Essentially, it was an alleged bribe on an unprecedented scale. No one casually claims a $100 million reason to keep something quiet without intending to manipulate legal proceedings. Public speculation exploded, cementing the belief something profoundly shady was afoot. Her insistence on extreme secrecy was justified. She argued by her celebrity status. Blake asserted fame warranted special treatment, claiming public exposure of certain evidence would irrevocably harm her meticulously crafted image. Yet, the law does not bend for red carpet appearances or headlines. Filing a public lawsuit carries inherent risks of transparency. Her desperate attempts to suppress unfavorable material only compounded the perception of guilt, making her arguments appear pathetic. Attorney Brian Freeman, a key figure in the proceedings, reportedly made it unequivocally clear Blake's relentless maneuvers were profoundly out of line. His assessment highlighted behavior stretching far beyond standard legal defense. The barrage of questionable public statements, convoluted court filings, and blatant attempts to hide critical material all revealed a strategy designed not for justice but to manipulate the legal system and public opinion. Observers noted this consistent pattern, suggesting a calculated effort to avoid accountability. Blake Lively's entire legal and public strategy has spectacularly crumbled under the relentless weight of contradictory evidence and damning insider documentation. What started as a court case quickly spiraled into a full-blown public spectacle, exposing alleged bribery attempts, desperate efforts to conceal crucial information, and inconsistent storytelling. From inflated lawsuits to secretive maneuvers designed to bury critical documents, her approach has drawn widespread skepticism and scathing criticism, leaving Hollywood observers questioning how far she was willing to go. Adding to her visible distress, Blake was reportedly very nervous about her private medical records being revealed in court. It became glaringly evident that her lawyers were under explicit instructions to ensure details concerning her celebrity relationships, third-party involvement, and other sensitive personal information remained strictly off the tape. This frantic effort to control the narrative around her personal life suggested that these specific revelations held the potential for significant damage. In a desperate theatrical display, Blake attempted to stage a spectacle, parading secret witnesses who supposedly harbored grievances against Justin Baldoni. These alleged witnesses were never officially named nor formally part of the lawsuit, existing only as rumors likely planted by her PR team. When even major media outlets refused to cover their claims due to obvious flimsiness and lack of verifiable substance, it became strikingly clear how fabricated and manipulative this entire scheme truly was. Another sign of Blake's sheer desperation manifested in a bizarre smear campaign, accusing Baldoni of toxic positivity. Her team incredibly argued he was too kind to employees, making them uncomfortable. One absurd example cited was his habit of signing emails with "so much love." Another was filming himself giving clothes to the homeless. Attempting to tarnish someone's reputation for being generous is beyond absurd. It demonstrated she had completely run out of legitimate ammunition. As the scandal escalated, whispers about bribery and hush money intensified, fueling the fire. Hollywood isn't new to stars paying to cover up problems, but sources claimed Blake reportedly took this to an extreme. Allegations surfaced. She even brought in ex-Ade agents to manage her PR disaster, a drastic move suggesting she was terrified her deepest secrets were surfacing. Yet, despite these shadowy tactics, her clumsy attempts kept getting exposed. Then came the looming catastrophic threat of a deposition. Sitting under oath and answering questions on camera could prove utterly disastrous for Blake. Even a single lie caught on video could instantly invalidate her entire testimony. Given she had already been caught in multiple falsehoods, legal experts widely suggested she might settle the case out of court at any cost, solely to avoid this inescapable courtroom humiliation. The inevitability of exposure was a fear she couldn't outrun. Blake's desperation became alarmingly evident when her own PR firm, Leslie Dart PR, made moves to cut ties. This firm specializes in damage control, navigating celebrities through crises. However, when a firm of this caliber drops a high-profile client, it sends an unmistakable signal across the industry. The situation is truly beyond repair. They likely realized no amount of effort could salvage Blake's reputation, as her repeated lies, fabricated stories, and web of deceit had rendered her case irreparable and toxic. Amidst the chaos, Ryan Reynolds reportedly played a significant, albeit behind-the-scenes role. He was allegedly attempting to keep the full extent of the scandal under wraps, likely understanding that if the public learned the entire details, his own carefully cultivated reputation could also be severely jeopardized. Known for his charm and comedic presence, he suddenly found himself inextricably linked to one of Hollywood's ugliest controversies. The question arose, was he merely protecting his family, or was there deeper involvement in alleged manipulations? Whispers about Taylor Swift's text messages also made headlines, adding another layer of intrigue and panic. The extreme concern over private exchanges between Blake and Swift strongly suggested these messages might contain even more damning evidence of manipulation. Perhaps Swift herself was pressured to support a certain narrative or even mislead others on Blake's behalf. The desperate effort to suppress and conceal these messages indicated they could be profoundly damaging, raising serious suspicions of further wrongdoing. Judge Lyman, visibly frustrated by Blake's continued attempts to sidestep standard legal procedures, expressed a clear and stern warning: celebrity status does not allow anyone to change court rules. Blake's team initiated a lawsuit, stirred up media frenzy, and then brazenly attempted to hide critical evidence, painting her negatively. The court prioritizes transparency, especially when a high-profile individual seems intent on manipulating the legal system. Her efforts to control the narrative were collapsing. Adding insult to injury, multiple journalists outright refused to publish Blake's claims because they found them profoundly unreliable and lacking verifiable proof. In Hollywood, reporters rarely pass on juicy scandals, making their collective rejection of Blake's allegations a major undeniable red flag. It signaled to everyone no substance or credible evidence backed her accusations. The media's hesitation only underscored how fundamentally weak and indefensible her position truly was. Hollywood insiders have widely noted that Blake has burned numerous bridges. No one wants to collaborate with her anymore. She repeatedly demonstrated a chilling willingness to fabricate stories and actively damage someone else's career, a cardinal sin in an industry built on trust, relationships, and managed appearances. If she was willing to lie about Baldoni, she could lie about anyone. Her professional reputation, once stellar, now appears irreparably damaged, her career prospects in shambles. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's legal team has meticulously and patiently built their case, presenting irrefutable evidence that demonstrably proves Blake's claims are baseless. They have systematically highlighted her inconsistencies, false statements, and wild accusations, dismantling her narrative piece by piece. Furthermore, leaked audio materials allegedly reveal that Baldoni was not blacklisted from a scandal, but rather due to a coordinated campaign of manipulation orchestrated directly by Blake and her allies. This damning revelation paints her as the true villain. Ultimately, Blake Lively's saga serves as a stark, undeniable cautionary tale for Hollywood. Her desperate attempts to manipulate, intimidate, and obscure the truth have spectacularly backfired. No amount of fame, wealth, or carefully deployed resources can override the unwavering power of the law, facts, or relentless journalistic scrutiny. Her repeated fabrications, sham witnesses, alleged bribery attempts, and over-the-top PR theatrics have converged to reveal a single, devastating reality. Blake Lively's reputation is severely compromised, her credibility utterly destroyed, and her legal strategy has collapsed into a public nightmare of her own making. The fallout will be felt for years.